Buddy Ad, it's Paul from Wicked Acorn. Welcome back, or welcome aboard if it's your first time here. A lot of people, I hope that title didn't scare you. I am not dead. The rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Um, a lot of people ask me how I came up with the name Wicked Acorn. And someone asked in the comments a little while ago, and I thought I would show you where it came from. And there we go. Wicked Acorn. So I was playing with Scrabble tiles one night and I was trying to come up with a name for my YouTube channel and my little company where I sell things. And my name, my surname is Wade. And my wife's surname is Cornick. And that's how I came up with it. So my children's surname is Cornick Wade. And that's how I came up with Wicked Acorn. It's an anagram of my children's surname. So there you go. That's where the name Wicked Acorn came from. It's kind of nice, isn't it? So today in history, we are talking about last time I left you with a photo, and we usually have a name where that photo is. Excuse me. And we have a new photo for the next live stream. So see if you can figure out where this photo is. And I'll just leave that for a moment so you can take a look at it. See if you can figure out where this photo is. And we'll talk about today in history, the 23rd of September. And this is actually something we watched a little while ago when we looked at the video about the oldest lighthouse. On the 23rd of September 1779, in the Battle of Flamborough Head off the coast of England, John Paul Jones aboard the USS Bonhomme Richard defeated the British frigate HMS Serapis, becoming America's first well-known naval hero. Despite his ship sinking after the battle, Jones captured the Serapis and the Countess of Scarborough. His daring victory, including the famous declaration, "Surrender, I have not yet begun to fight," boosted American morale and cemented his legendary status. So I'll just play that section of the video, the Flamborough Head section of the video. And you'll see what happened on this day in history. A note of interest to any American viewers is the Battle of Flamborough Head in 1779. It became one of the most celebrated naval actions of the American War of Independence, despite its relatively small size and a considerable dispute over what actually happened. On the 23rd of September 1779, under a bright moon, the Battle of Flamborough Head took place between an American Continental Navy squadron led by John Paul Jones aboard the Bonhomme Richard and two British escort vessels, HMS Serapis and the Countess of Scarborough, protecting a large merchant convoy. It was the Bonhomme Richard that initiated the conflict by engaging Serapis in a violent gun battle. The more heavily armed Serapis made a British triumph look inevitable, However, it was John Paul Jones who claimed victory by lashing two ships together. After a chaotic battle, he then boarded and captured the Serapis just before the Bonhomme Richard sank. The final resting place of the Bonhomme Richard is subject to much speculation. Countless expeditions have sought to locate the wreckage, but without success, and for now it remains a mystery. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more. So that is a beautiful place if you ever get a chance to get down there. And I wanted to show you this other movie I made yesterday when I was cleaning up. So this is what was going on before the live stream yesterday. Now, for my favorite part of the market, I have to go through all of this stuff and take stock, see what sold and see what didn't, and put it all away till the next one. It's my favorite part. So what we do now is watch YouTube, and wouldn't you love to watch this with me? The harsh realities of magic mushroom hunting in the UK. My wife was getting ready for work this morning and there was frost on the car, and that's what we were always told about magic mushrooms. It's the frost that takes them out, that makes them come out. I want to show you my radio. This is my free radio. Somebody gave me this radio, and I want to show you my invention. I made this for the batteries because it takes, what are those called? D batteries. And of course, nobody has D batteries, but we have thousands of double A's, right? And I made these little tube things so I can use my regular double A's, which I have lots of, and I have lots of these rechargeable ones. And I'll show you how I came up with this idea one day. It's just a cardboard tube I made up to hold the batteries. That was a little bit tight. So I have to go recharge my rechargeable batteries for the next market. So here's my other free radio, and this one's a little better, so I don't take this one to market with me. But I made the same thing for this one, but these don't fit in that one, and unfortunately, I call them my Flintstone batteries. I made them out of twigs, branches from a tree in the garden. And unfortunately, the rechargeable batteries are slightly bigger, so they don't fit. And I don't have a drill bit to make them fit. But in the other radio, they don't fit singly. So I made them into a tube twice as long that'll hold two batteries. So that's just an idea of a way you can make D cells. Is it D? Anyway, not the big round ones, the middle-sized round ones. I think they're D. C maybe? D cells, are they flashlight batteries? I've forgotten the names now. What does it say here? Size C. Yeah, C. The middle-sized ones. Between AA and D, the big one. The big cylinder one. So this is the middle-sized one. You know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, it's a way you can make your AA batteries work in things that take
a different size because we all have everything runs on double A nowadays. Well, most things do. What are you at? I'm Paul from Wicked Acorn. You may know me from videos such as Where's the Loo? And I just got back from the Sailmakers Market and I just wanted to show you one of our new products. It's called Mug. It has a lot of uses. You can put liquids in it or pencils. Try it now. Mug, available at wickedacorn.com. Mug comes in a variety of colors. You could say all the colors of the rainbow.
So that's just a little fun I had yesterday while taking stock of the things for the market. Now, where were we? Right, we were at the Battle of Flamborough Head, weren't we? So our photo from the day yesterday, was it? Was this one. And as I said, I didn't think anyone was going to get that one. That is, I wouldn't have got it. I certainly wouldn't know where it is. Have you ever seen that GeoGuessr game? It's incredible. It's a game they play online, and they go on Google Maps, Google Earth, and they just show a photo, and you have to figure out where it is in the world, and whoever can put the pin closest to the photo wins the game. And it's incredible how good some people are at this. Like they would look at that photo and go, those trees are, and the curbs and the light poles and the street signs, that's definitely, and they figure it out and they get really, really close. Like there's some people who are really, really good at it. It's not something I watch all the time, but it does come across my feed in YouTube sometimes. It's amazing how accurate some of these people are at geoguessing. I think it's called geoguessing. Anyway, this is the Northern Illinois University. And the reason why that's of interest today, this day in history, is the student newspaper from Northern Illinois University published an article on this day in history in 1969 titled Clues Hint at Possible Beatle Death, which fueled the Paul is Dead rumor by suggesting McCartney had died and been replaced by a double. Russell Gibb, the rumor gained widespread attention when Detroit radio DJ Russell Gibb picked up on the claims, amplified by the Northern Star's article, leading to its international spread. And that is, people call it the first conspiracy theory. So that happened on this day in history. That's when the Paul is Dead conspiracy theory started. It's it's supposed to be the first conspiracy theory in history. And I have a little clip here from the day back in October 22nd, 1969. And this is when the clip, it really, really got going. The Paul is Dead thing really got going, and people started talking about it a lot. And the sound is really terrible on this. This is recorded off television by the looks of it. Like somebody put their camera up to the television screen.
And well, and as he puts it, unconcerned about the rumors of his death.
Any parent can testify the lifestyle of the Beatles has always been somewhat different. And if you believe current rumor, their style of revealing Paul McCartney's alleged death is being carried out with singular taste.
Paul doesn't have shoes on.
To some, that is a death symbol. Well, there he is. He walks, he talks, he sings. Paul McCartney of the Beatles. He finally got in front of a camera in Glasgow today to put an end to the speculation that he is no longer among the living. He is. And now the whole world has been apprised of that fact.
Is Paul McCartney alive or dead? Yes. James Paul McCartney was born on the 18th of June, 1942, in Liverpool. Now, at the age of 27, he is either a millionaire Beatle with a beautiful wife, or he's dead and has been for about 2 years. According to the rumors, he is supposed to have died in a car crash in 1966. The controversy surrounding Paul McCartney was recently the subject of an hour-long report on radio. 5AD's Martin Smith presents the evidence.
Started in Detroit. A group of university students were playing tapes backwards and forwards, different speeds. They gave their evidence to a disc jockey in Detroit. His name was Russ Gibb. And together, collectively, they thought Paul McCartney had died. I understand they still do. So people throughout the world then started to think, well, what has happened? The Beatles have made no live appearances for 3 years. There have been no records for a certain period of time in 1966. When Paul was supposed to have died, I understand he went to Africa at the time, but maybe he did have an accident of some sort. Anyway, the first record that came out after the lull of activity from Apple Records was Strawberry Fields Forever, which I understand Strawberry Fields is a graveyard on a hillside in Liverpool. Other people have told me it's an orphanage down the road from where John Lennon lived, but I think we're both right. I think if they check up as well, Strawberry Fields is in, but it could be the grave that they buried Paul in. He's standing head and shoulders above the rest. He's meant to be a lot shorter. Around his wax model from Madame Tussauds are heads of Marlon Brando, who met a tragic death in The Wild One, and also Tom Mix. He died in a car accident. On the back of the album, Paul has his back to us. On the inside photos, the initials OPD are on his arm. Does that mean Oh Paul is dead? There's a guitar with left-handed strings, left-handed guitar on the around the grave. He was a left-handed four-string guitarist. So there you are. It goes from one thing to the other. And also musically on the record, at the very end, when the needle is running over the dead surface area, waiting to be taken back by the arm, well then there's a little bit there which caught our attention, and it could be, will Paul be back as Superman? Forwards, it doesn't sound like anything too much, but perhaps backwards, that does come out. There are certain things on the Magical Mystery Tour album as well, visually and music-wise, which proved interesting. For instance, you can look at some of the photos. We're just mentioning Superman. There's a photo in there of Paul as Superman, with Superman at the driving wheel. Paul thought he was the driver. There's also a couple of shots of Paul without his shoes on, which is the mark of a corpse in Italy, his shoes to the side of him. And the last album, which has been released here in Australia, the Abbey Road album, probably musically we haven't been able to find too much yet. People have read certain things into certain tracks so far. But certainly the cover is rather fascinating. You have the four Beatles walking across Abbey Road, which is where the EMI recording studios are in London, where they record. John Lennon is dressed as a religious figure. Following him is Ringo. He's dressed as an undertaker. Then you've got McCartney. He's out of step and barefoot and dressed in a normal suit, the mark of the corpse again. And then follows up George Harrison as a kind of hippie gravedigger dressed in jeans. Whether this has any significance, I don't know. My theory is, for what it's worth, that Paul was close to dying at some stage. And now, when it's all over and he is better, they, and especially John Lennon, who is known to have this cynical mind, can look back on it and make one big joke out of it.
I had to mute that part because they were singing some Beatles song.
Glass Onion. I had to mute it. Yeah, because and of course the Beatles lapped it all up and played along. And Glass Onion, he says, here's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that they put in their music to get people to play along with the thing. But it's supposed to be the first conspiracy theory, and it's funny. Good evening, 1, 2, 3, 4. A friend of mine was really into numerology, and at the time, I was really into card tricks, like, sleight of hand, doing card tricks. And I started doing card tricks, and I was making up some kind of numerology story to the card tricks I was doing. And it was totally freaking her out. Like, she could not stand it at all, because I was telling this story to go along with the card tricks I was doing. Like, you picked the number 8, and 8 is very important because, and I had this story I was making up as I went along, just teasing her with her belief in numerology. And she reached over, so pick a card, right? And she batted the cards out of my hands. She picked a card, and then she batted the cards out of my hand. And no, the card went back in the deck, and she batted the cards out of my hand. And she said, "Okay, find it now." And I reached over, and absolute fluke. Sometimes the planets align, and out of the mess of cards on the floor, absolute fluke, I picked up her card, and she lost her mind. So some people really love that stuff, and I love it too. Like, conspiracy theories they're a lot of fun. Like, back before the internet, we'd sit around and talk about this old foolishness, and it was great fun to talk about conspiracy theories and all this stuff before the internet came along and social media. It's like, my favorite is it kills conversation. That was one of my things that I go on about, how the internet and the World Wide Web has killed conversation, because well, what year did John Lennon die? Oh, it was 1978. No, it wasn't 1978. You'd be in the shed having a few beers and arguing over what year John Lennon died. No, it wasn't 1978. It was 1980. I remember, because Jim had the brand new 1980 Corsica. And the Corsica, remember the Corsica? It had the black ends on the bumpers, and the wing mirrors were different than the 78 Corsica. So it was definitely 19. Off you go. You're into a conversation about whatever, trying to figure out what year John Lennon died. And now it's December 8th, 1980. And that's the end of the conversation. You just look it up on Google, and that's the end of the conversation. It doesn't evolve into a conversation about Corsicas or whatever. But and conspiracy theories are just so silly, and they're just fun, right? But it's amazing how they've become this thing that has just I don't even want to talk about it. A couple of things they didn't mention in that little article because the album Abbey Road had just come out. And this Volkswagen Beetle here, the license plate on this car is 28IF. And that was one of the conspiracy theories. Paul McCartney would have been 28 if he was alive when this album came out. And he's carrying a cigarette, right? The cancer stick. Interesting note, the new releases of Abbey Road, the cigarette's been removed. It's been photoshopped out. So when you pick up a new copy of Abbey Road, a hard copy, the cigarette is airbrushed out. There's a whole bunch. It just got absolutely mad. And I'm just showing this because I wanted to try getting my computer screen up here. And because that came up last night. Can you see what I'm typing? On the Sgt. Pepper album, you know, they have those funny outfits. And McCartney is wearing one of these. And in the little thing we saw, he said he has a badge on his arm that says OPD. And the conspiracy theory at the time was that was a badge that said officially pronounced dead. And there was a big conspiracy down the rabbit hole nonsense about that. But it's not. It's an OPP badge. And that is the Ontario Provincial Police. Not OPD, OPP. But you can't really see it on the album cover. It kind of looks like a D. But it's a badge that one of the cops that brought them to a concert or something in Toronto gave Paul, and he had it sewn on his Sgt. Pepper outfit. So that it's, you know, it's no fun when the myth gets busted. But yeah, this was this day in history. This is when the first modern conspiracy theory got started, the Paul is dead theory. There's several others. What was it? There was a whole bunch. Oh yeah, so this is supposed to be a funeral procession. He mentioned that. And John said, they said I was wearing a white religious suit. I mean, did Humphrey Bogart wear a white religious suit? All I've got is a nice Humphrey Bogart suit. And later, Lennon on his Imagine album did a song, How Do You Sleep, which was ripping into McCartney. And one of the lines in the song was, those freaks was right when they said you was dead. Song called How Do You Sleep. I'm trying to think of some of the others. There were so many of these foolish conspiracy theories that there was Glass Onion, I Am the Walrus. Can't think of any others right now, but there were all kinds of them, like every little detail of the Beatle albums. Oh, Number 9 on the White Album, playing Number 9, you know, that crazy song on the White Album. And it's just a soundscape kind of song. And it's like, Number 9, Number 9, Number 9, Number 9 is part of the song, if you can call it a song. Number 9, Number 9. And people were playing it backwards. And Number 9
backwards sounds like, turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man. It doesn't really, but sort of. When someone suggests it to you, you can sort of hear it. That was another one. Yeah, so it was just a silly thing that happened on this day in history, and I thought I would show you that. Where did it go? Oh yes, I meant to, I couldn't remember if I had a photo. So there's our where is it photo for next time, if anybody can figure out where that one is. This one, we're back in Greater Manchester. Does anybody know where the Disney store is or was? So that's where we're going tomorrow. Somewhere in Greater Manchester. That photo. Can you figure out where that one is? So that will be our video tomorrow. And something of note that happened tomorrow in history. Of course, every day in history there's something of note to talk about and look at. And I guess that's all I have to say today. And we'll see you in the next one.